Nicole, I can't hear you. Do you know that? Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. You enjoying this Ukiah warm January weather?
It's amazing.
I know. It's a little scary amazing, but yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. We're going to use a bolster tonight, but if you don't have a bolster, but you have a big pillow or an extra mat that you can roll up, those are all good.
Is it going to be like for the back kind of?
We're going to do like a Cobra with a supported rib cage.
Nice.
We
Okay.
might even bring our heels in, so it's like a supported Dhanurasana or Dhanurasana.
Okay. All right. I'll grab a good pillow for that. And you said also beanbag?
Yeah, so if you have a sandbag like this, or even just like a bag of rice or a bag of beans that you can put, that's helpful.
Okay.
Hi, Nicole.
Hello, how are you?
Thanks for your payment. I just got it.
Oh. We're like 11th hour. Sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
Are you doing okay?
I'm doing good. Yeah. Hanging in there, you know.
Yeah.
It's all good. How about you?
I'm doing well. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I can't complain.
Yeah.
So many people are suffering.
Right? It's
yeah.
true. Yeah.
So,
No, we're doing good. It's, you know, I'm so done, right? I just want a shot and I just want to go get the COVID shot and get back to normal.
yeah, my mom just got a shot, so I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I know she's been alone like for a year, and I'm hoping she'll be able to get out some now.
How old is she?
My mom is turning 79 this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where does she live nearby?
She lives in San Francisco.
Mhm.
But she's just been super, super conservative about the whole thing. So she's just been alone a lot.
It does a lot on your psyche when you're
I
alone.
know. I feel like when I get on Zoom with her, I feel like she's aging right in front of me. You know,
Right.
like, Mom, I want you to get out and see people. Anyway. Okay, so we're going to use a bolster later in the practice. So if you don't have a bolster, but you have an extra yoga mat or a big blanket or a pillow, couch pillow, anything that you could support your rib cage with at the end, that would be terrific. Hi, Patrice. Nice to see you. Hey,
Hey, Jen.
Brian.
Hello.
Hi, Lisa. You're on your purple screen today. Everything's purple. Your shirt's purple. The dress is purple.
I guess my computer is really, really old. It doesn't have a decent camera.
How is your neck?
It's okay. It's better, but still wound up.
Okay. All right. Good to know. We're going to do something on a bolster. So if you have a bolster or a couch pillow or a sleeping bag, something like that,
My cushion.
that should do it. Yeah. Great. Okay. So those people who are on while we're waiting, if you know if your left or right posterior hip capsule is tighter, can you tell me, Lisa, you're a right?
Yes.
Patrice, do you know?
I think it's right.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. How about you, Brian?
I'm a left.
Okay, that's good. And how about you, Sharon? Do you know?
Right.
Okay, wow. Really interesting. Nicole, do you know if your left or right posterior hip capsule is tighter?
Oh, my left.
Okay,
It's a real mix.
yeah. Very interesting.
Can we change our answer if we get it wrong?
Yes, you may change your answer for sure.
How do you know what's the exercise that you know?
Okay, so if you are sitting, try to keep your back lifted like this. But if you were sitting like this, and then you'd go ahead and come into Suchirandrasana
I
and
can't
just
see the
feel
leg.
what it's like to reach your knee away. Is this better?
I can just see your chest.
Yeah.
So can you pin me on the side view, Sharon?
Oh,
You'll
okay,
see
right.
me like with the red carpet in front of me.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Pin that video so you're watching the whole time.
Okay.
Okay, so then you've got the left side. You want to lift your lumbar spine. Don't collapse down like this, but try to keep lifted in your lumbar spine and come into that figure four. Reach your left knee away from you, flex your foot, but try not to pronate it. So in other words, you're trying not to turn the sole of your foot towards yourself, but leave it towards the side. And just kind of note what that's like. And you can even rock side to side a little bit. You can rock your foot down to the right or to the left and just notice how that hip capsule feels.
Okay.
And then try the other side and just see if you can notice. Sometimes they're both tight, but sometimes one is tight and one is loose. So just kind of notice if you have one wonky side, which is loose. For those of you who have a hamstring, easy hamstring pull, like little tearing in your upper hamstring connection, a lot of times there'll be like a loose hip with that. Hi, Teresa. How nice to see you.
Okay, I'm changing my answer to right, to left.
Left. Okay. And how about you, Sharon? You want to change your answer?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both
They're both tight.
been
Okay.
a chronic issue for me is my hip capsules on both sides.
Sarah, do you know if your left or right posterior hip capsule is tighter?
When you first asked a couple weeks ago, I thought left, but I've changed my answer to right.
Okay. Okay. Teresa, do you know which side is tighter when you do a figure four like this?
Typically right.
Typically right. Wow. Okay.
Does this correlate with how many of us are righties?
No, it can be either way. But a lot of times I find it to be more on the left. So right now we're running 4 lefts and 3 rights and 1 both. All right, so let me
If
just
both
see.
is an option, I'll take both.
Okay, who is that? Teresa saying both. All right. And Patty's not coming. And I don't think, so might just be Fran and Deborah and Becca. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So we were talking a lot about this hip capsule balancing over the last session. And this time I wanted to start in on a little bit of back bending, and just keeping in mind that balance of the hip capsule. So we were doing it a little bit before everybody got on, but if you haven't tried it, go ahead and come into this position so that you're lifting into your lumbar spine, and just take one ankle up onto the opposite thigh and push into your toe mound, but don't turn your foot. So I don't want to turn my sole of my foot to face myself. I'd like to just keep it facing directly to the side, and then reach your knee away from you of the upper leg, and just feel that tightness. And you can just drop your foot towards the floor in both directions a little bit and kind of get a sense of where the tightness lives in that hip capsule. And once you've checked that out, just feel free to go to the other side. Fran, I think you're a lefty, right? Your left posterior hip capsule is tighter than your right. How about you, Becca? Do you know if your left or right is tighter? No, okay,
I think my left is.
okay. That was Sharon saying that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
All right, so now we've switched to side 2, and you're just checking out, you're reaching your knee away, try to keep your foot directly to the side, and just go a little bit of windshield wiping movement and just find out where that lives. And again, I was saying before that if you have an easy hamstring pull right here, you have a little bit of tightness in your hamstring tendon there, or even a little tearing. I often find that goes with laxity in the outer hip. So some people have 2 tight hips, some people have 1 tight and 1 loose hip. And when they have a loose hip, a lot of times they'll get a lot of strain in that hamstring tendon. Not always, but often. Okay, good. And then I want you to go ahead and lie down on your back and breathe into your belly. If you do have a sandbag or a bag of beans or something with you, or your hands, you can go ahead and put them on your belly and just take a couple of deep breaths into your belly and notice your belly rising and falling. I'll be right back. I forgot to get a glass of water. Okay, now on your next inhalation, go ahead and just return some pressure towards your belly as you inhale with your fingertips, like you're resisting that in-breath into your belly with your fingertips. Or if you have a sandbag on there, just allow the sandbag to weigh down your belly at the same time that you're inhaling. So you're just having 2 actions going on at the same time. You're breathing into your belly, but you're feeling your hands way back, return pressure, or you're allowing that sandbag to drop down into you a little bit more deeply. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then this time, just take off the sandbag. If you haven't, take off your hands and inhale really deeply. Poof your belly up to the ceiling as much as possible. Exhale, allow your navel to drop down to the floor. And on the next inhalation, resist, but don't use your hands. Don't use the sandbag. Just resist with your abdominal wall itself. So you're breathing in, but you're resisting with your own abdominal wall. 3, 2, 1, and then exhale and let your navel drop down towards the floor. And then inhale, poof up your belly as much as possible. Just let it ride up to the ceiling. Fill the belly with breath. Exhale, let the belly drop down. Navel drops down to the floor. And then inhale and resist with your own abdominal wall. So you're breathing in, but it's like your abdominal wall is very dense, like a tire wall or something, and it's really resisting that inhalation. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then exhale, let that go. Navel comes down to the floor. And then last one of those sets. So inhale, poof up your belly to the ceiling. Just expand all that tissue as much as possible. Get as much in breath as you can. Exhale, let the navel drop down towards the floor. And then inhale, and this time resist with your abdominal wall, like you have a very strong tire wall at the front of your abdomen, and you can't get any more breath in, but you're trying. 3, 2, 1, and then exhale and let that go. And then just draw your knees into your chest, rock forward and back until you've rocked yourself all the way up to seated. Come all the way up to standing, actually, and just stand in a forward fold at the front of your mat. Let the base of your skull drape towards the top of your head. And just feel the back line of the body expanding. Maybe it's your first forward fold of the day. Just notice as the sitting bones try to rise, and as if you had a long stripe painted up the back line of your leg, just see if you can extend that line some as your sitting bones rise up toward the ceiling. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then inhale, look halfway up. Take your hands onto your blocks and exhale, step your right foot back. Go ahead and bend your knee. If you feel uncomfortable doing this, you can put your right knee on the floor, but otherwise leave it up. Take your hands to fingertips on the block and go ahead and start a little sitting bone circle. Like there's a flashlight in your left sitting bone and you're drawing a big circle on the mat. For 3 and 2 and 1, and then go the other direction. And just notice if you've made any space on this left side. In the last month or so, we've been working on this. For 3 and 2 and 1. And now go ahead and take your right knee down onto the mat or onto a blanket and begin that toe rocking we've been doing. So lift up your big toe, your inner arch, your inner ankle bone, your inner knee, and then drop that down. Firm your big toe into the mat and lift up the other 4 toes. Lift up your outer ankle, your outer knee. We're just going to rock side to side, and we're noticing how it feels to lift up only the big toe or only the 4 toes. And then we're going to notice how it feels to pick up the inseam line of the leg or to pick up the outseam line. And just noticing how that's going in the body. We've been working on that for a few weeks, just noticing that line. And the next time you have your big toe up and your knee is slightly out to the side, just bump your left hip out to the side a little bit too. So you're making just a little bit more room in that posterior hip capsule. And then keep that hip bumping out to the side, but firm that toe back down into the mat. And just feel what it's like to have a little weight on your left foot. We're going to take our weight forward while that hip is a little bit bumped out to the side, a little bit of laxity in that hip capsule, more than usual. You're taking your knee in front of your ankle and just leaning forward and just noticing what it's like to move that hip while we've got that little bit of space into the hip capsule. We're going to come forward 2 or 3 times with the knee in front of the ankle. For 3 and 2 and 1. Now back up, keep your left hip bumping out to the left a little bit. So we made that little space. And now we're going to go ahead and pick up that right heel and just pull it in close to your glute. Get the back line of your right leg working. Get your right glute squeezing. Get your right hamstring squeezing that heel in. And try to keep that squeeze on as you put the foot back down. So you're resisting putting the foot down with the pull of your hamstring, with the pull of your glute. As if my hand was under your ankle and was resisting, you're pressing down, you're pulling up at the same time until your toes get all the way into a tucked under situation on the mat. Now go ahead and back up. I really want you to feel your right glute, your right hamstring on from that little exercise. You're feeling your left hip bumped out a little bit, and then take your left edge of sacrum back slightly to equilibrate your pelvis a little bit, and see if you can drop your left sitting bone down. You're not going to be able to drop it down as much as usual, probably, because we did all this work in balancing the hip, but I really want you to feel that right leg working. And then just go ahead and swing your hands around behind you, interlace your fingers, drop your fist down. Now notice that tendency to shear the rib cage when you do that. See if you can keep your low ribs driving towards the back, and take the opening between the sternum and the collarbone instead. So you're trying to spread across, spread up and down those upper front intercostals, lift the base of the skull towards the ceiling. So you've got the longest back of neck you can while you're looking up. Now notice different muscles in your legs working than maybe usually work as you look up. Maybe you're more in your glutes, I hope so. Maybe you feel the outside of your leg more, just noticing where you feel that differently. For 3 and 2 and 1, and release, and take your hands to your blocks. Go ahead and unfurl, lift that right leg up, take your left toes up off the mat, spread them apart, and just start to fan that left foot side to side. Roll through the 3 hamstrings for 3 and 2 and 1. And now walk your hands over towards the right. If you don't feel comfortable with your hands on the floor, you can have your hands on a block. That's completely fine. Your toes are parallel, your feet are parallel to each other. Just extend your rib cage away from your pelvis as you draw your sternum forward. Your back is as flat as it can be, and then reach your pelvis back away from your rib cage. It's a little tug of war trying to separate your rib cage and your pelvis as much as possible. You're lengthening your side waist, and then you're going to go ahead and bend the knees and sit your butt way back like you're sitting into a chair. And just feel, maybe you can feel your right hamstring and your right glute more than your left one, because we turned that one on so intentionally a moment ago. And then on your next exhalation, push your right heel away from you so that you extend your right leg long and reach your left leg out to the side. So if I was coming around to you and holding a block outside your knee and you were pushing into that block, you really want to feel that turning on of the left glute. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. As you exhale, push your left heel away. It's not a very stretchy side lunge. It's a very muscular side lunge. And you're coming into a right bent knee, and you're going to push out into your an imaginary block on the right side. Push your knee away from you. Really try to get that right glute on for 3 and 2 and 1. And then you're just going to go side to side. Keep your hips low. Keep your sternum long. Your anterior spine is extended. You're going side to side. You're trying to feel your glutes working. 3, press the bent knee out to the side as you go. 2 and 1. And then go ahead and walk your block back around the front. Take your right knee back down, lift up the left foot and just set it down. So you're in Ardha Hanumanasana. Reach, extend your sternum forward. Don't cat arch your back. If you're cat arching, you're too low. Come up a little higher, but reach and extend and fan that left foot side to side. You can spread the toes again for 3 and 2 and 1. And now we're going to walk our blocks around to the right. We're going to walk the left block a little further than the right block. Press the hips over towards the left side of the mat. Push your right knee into the floor. Turn your left belly to the right, and then creep your fingers forward a little bit more. You want to extend, not from the shoulder top, not to hike up that shoulder, but from the lowest left rib, reaching towards those fingertips, and press the pelvis towards the left side of the mat till you can feel the left side waist peeling open. And begin to breathe into the left side ribs. You're really expanding left rib tips away from each other. Big inhalation there, exhaling out the belly. Inhale into the side ribs. Exhale out the belly. Inhale, left side ribs. Exhale out the belly. And then take your breath a little higher up on the rib cage, like right outside the breast tissue, and breathe in there and expand those rib tips. And exhale out the belly. Inhale, upper ribs. Exhale out the belly. And inhale, left upper ribs. And exhale out the belly. Firm into your right hand. Unfurl your left hand up to the sky. Go as wide as you can across the collarbones as you reach those left fingertips up, 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 up. And then just let your right ear gently drop so that your head is draping down towards the floor. Try to get as much length as you can between your ear and your neck and along your shoulder top, not pushing or forcing, but like that whole length was made out of taffy, and you're just lengthening the side of your neck and the shoulder top to drape down more and more for 3 and 2 and 1. And then step back into your shoulder blade. Draw your left hand a little further back and dive it into your right side waist. And then just go ahead and let that left shoulder top come towards your left ear. Let it draw forward and down. So you're drawing a clockwise circle on the ceiling with your left shoulder head. 3, 2, and 1. And then release that left hand down. Walk your left block underneath your right arm. Flip the palm and eke those fingers towards the back edge of the mat. Sit your left shoulder blade a little further forward towards the front edge of the mat, but at the same time, reach it away from the left edge of the spine. Your left shoulder blade's moving towards the front of the mat, but it's reaching away from the spine, and you're just feeling that back line of the arm extending for 3 and 2 and 1. And then release, come all the way around to the front, and we're going to turn towards the right side of the mat so that the right knee is a little bit outside the hip and the left foot is parallel to the edge of the mat. Then just go ahead and take that block behind your head and try not to lift the chin as you press into the block, but reach the base of the skull back towards the block. Try to keep your low ribs underneath you. Try to keep your ears over your shoulder. Take an easy inhale. Squeeze an imaginary block between your thighs, and then exhale your left elbow down towards the knee. Draw your right elbow back a little bit and breathe into your right ribs for 3 and 2 and 1. And then inhale into the center and exhale your right elbow down. And then take your breath back into your left rib cage where we were a second ago. Draw your left elbow back for 3 and 2 and 1. And inhale center and exhale your left elbow down. Take your breath a little higher this time, so it's in the upper right ribs. Draw your right elbow back for 3 and 2 and 1. And then inhale center and exhale over towards the right. Take your breath a little higher into the left upper ribs. Draw that left elbow back for 3 and 2 and 1. Inhale to the center. Exhale your left elbow down. And this time turn and look at your left knee. Reach your right elbow towards the ground and let your right shoulder blade follow after that elbow like it's trying to chase it around the side of the body and canoe up the edge of the body. And then breathe into your bottom tip of your right shoulder blade for 3 and 2 and 1. And on your next exhalation, open up that wing, look up at the right elbow, drop your right shoulder blade toward the right rim of the pelvis, at the back of the pelvis there. So you got a little arch in your back going. Breathe up under that right collarbone for 3 and 2 and 1. And then go ahead and release your block. Take your left hand behind the head. Keep supporting the head as you look up and to the right. Drop your right shoulder blade down again. So it's reaching for the back rim of that pelvis. You've got your breath up under your collarbone, and you're going to take your right hand and reach it around to your left side waist this time. Same thing that we were doing before as we try to extend space in the very top ribs at the front. For 3 and 2 and 1, and then release that, and then walk your bricks around to the front of the mat, curl your toes under, and then exhale and cat arch one more time. And this time we're going to block the left foot. So we're going to try to get the entire ball of the foot up and over the edge of the block. Inhale, lift your heel, roll through the right big toe mound. Let the weight come into that right big toe mound. And then as you drop down, see if you can get the weight right in the center of your heel strike. Inhale, rolling up through the big toe mound. And exhale, dropping down. Inhale, rolling up, arch your right foot slightly. And exhale, drop down. And then stay there, or if you feel comfortable, hop your right foot forward a little bit or a lot, depending on the length of the back line of your leg today. Inhale, reach the sitting bones up to the sky and let the sternum draw forward. And then exhale, let your outer left heel drop into the mat. And just feel that lengthening and stretch along the lateral line of the calf for 3 and 2 and 1. Inhale, center, and exhale, drop the inner left heel down into the mat. The hips are going to shift over towards the right for 3 and 2 and 1. And then just go side to side with the pelvis and just feel that change, that dynamic stretch in the calf for 3 and 2 and 1. Then take all the weight in your right foot, turn your block around, take your left heel on it so that your toes are parallel, and walk your other block around to the right. Let your left hand reach a little further than your right hand. Straighten your left leg any amount and press your pelvis over towards the left side of the mat. Without hiking up your left shoulder, see if you can peel that lowest left rib away from the left pelvis and reach that left hip more and more and more towards the left. Breathe into the entire left side rib. Exhale out the belly. Inhale, side ribs. Exhale, belly. Inhale, side ribs. Big exhale. And then go ahead and rebend your left knee. Walk your block back. Take your fingertips on it and step your right foot way back. Left forearm is on left thigh. As you inhale, swing both edges of the pelvis forward. Come into a little bit of a dog tilt if you can. Lift the back of the right knee and drop the shoulder blades down towards the back rim of the pelvis. Really trying to contract the back edge of the body here. Lift your base of skull up slightly as you look up. Going after this tissue again right here between the sternum and the collarbone for 3 and 2 and 1. And then keep that contraction between the shoulder blades and the back rim of the pelvis. And at the same time, start to drop your low front ribs towards the pubic bone so that there's a reach, a contraction on both the front edge and the back edge of the body. 3, 2, 1. And then let that go and swing through into a cat arch. Breathe into your kidney band for 3 and 2 and 1. And then inhale and swing forward, dog tilt. See if you can find that contraction in the QL by dropping your shoulder blades down to the back rim of the pelvis, lifting the back rim of the pelvis up to the shoulder blades by picking up the back of your right knee for 3, 2, 1. Keep that back line working and then add the dropping of the low front ribs. See if you can co-activate the front and the back edge of the body. 3. This should not be a picnic to you right now. 2 and 1. And then exhale into your cat arch. Breathe and expand into the kidney band for 3 and 2 and 1. And then drop your right knee down. Take your right block down a notch creep your left hand forward, forward, forward. Get as long as you can in the left side waist as you sink your left sitting bone down towards the floor. See if you can make another sitting bone circle here. So your left sitting bone is just rotating a little bit, trying to loosen up for 3 and 2 and 1. Then firm your right palm into the block and unfurl your left hand up to the sky. Just let that right ear drape down again towards the right shoulder. See how long and taffy-like you can get your left shoulder and the left edge of your neck to be. Not pushing or forcing, just draping down. Then step your left shoulder blade back, reach your left palm even further back, and then dive that hand into the right side waist. And go ahead with that same circle. So lift your left shoulder top towards your ear, let it draw forward and down. You're making a clockwise circle with that left shoulder head for 3 and 2 and 1. And then release, step your left foot off the block, and then we're going to walk the hands around to the right again. Prasarita Padottanasana, just take a forward fold, breathe, couple of loose, generous breaths there for 3 and 2 and 1. And then go ahead and unfurl your way all the way up to standing. So just notice how you are in your pelvis right now, and go ahead and draw your right hip out to the right and just feel how far it can extend, like you're going to come into a triangle, but your feet are wonky. And then draw the other hip out, bump the other hip out. Notice how easily it goes into that extension position. And we're just going to go side to side. I want you to close your eyes and just notice when you're coming past, when you're gliding by the most neutral place between the hips where neither hip is extended out to the side. So as you glide past that midline, just notice, go slowly, notice when you feel like your pelvis is the most balanced, the most upright. And then just notice when you go past that point and all the way to the other hip. For 3 and 2 and 1. And the next time you get to that midline point, just take a little pause there. See if you can find the place where you feel like your pelvis is the most balanced. Your left hip is not bumping out and your right hip is not bumping out. If both hips are a little tight, just see if you can reach both hips very slightly further apart. Or if only one hip is tight, maybe you can get that hip to reach out to the side a little bit without losing that sense of equilibrium. Now, squeeze an imaginary block between your thighs. You're going to have some midline action. And again, we're trying not to sit into the rib cage, but we're just going to keep that sense of dropping low ribs towards the pubic bone and opening from sternum to collarbone that we were working in a couple of our postures so far. Just open up here and take a little look up. And then we're going to take our hands, palms onto the sacrum, looking up like that for 3 and 2 and 1. And then just release out of there. And this time, inhale into the belly like we did at the beginning of class. Exhale the navel to the spine. Inhale into the hands. And this time, as you're there, press back with your hands a little bit for 3 and 2 and 1. And then exhale, let the breath go. Take your hands back to your sacrum. Inhale into the wall of the belly. And this time, resist with your abdominal wall. And just hold the breath there in your resistance. See if you can really get your glutes on by making the act of picking your heels up towards your butt. They're not going to go anywhere, but you're just trying to turn on your glutes, turn on your hamstrings. You've got this breath maintained, and just reach back a little bit further by exhaling the navel to the spine and inhaling and resisting with your own abdominal wall. Hold there for 3 and 2 and 1, and then let that go. Just very slowly forward fold. Notice the balance of the pelvis, how you're feeling at the back of each hip capsule, and then walk your hands around to the front again. And we're going to take our hands down onto the mat, step the left foot back downward facing dog. Lengthening both side waists, breathing the body long. For 3 and 2 and 1. Take an easy inhale. As you exhale, glue your knees together and drop them an inch above the mat. Keep squeezing them together as you rotate them over towards the right. Try not to let the left knee get behind the right knee. And then reach your left sitting bone for your left heel. Breathe, bottom tip of right shoulder blade. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then go ahead and launch up on the ball of the right foot. Let that left thigh draw into the belly and lift a little higher up, like the thigh is trying to marry into the belly. Let the head go. Pick up that space right between your shoulder blades, like you're growing a dolphin fin and pressing it up into the air out of the water. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then just let that go. Downward facing dog. Take a breath for nothing. Inhale and glue your knees together again. Exhale and drop your knees an inch above the mat. Keep them squeezing together. And this time turn them over towards the left. Try not to let your right knee get behind your left knee. And then sit your right sitting bone towards your right heel. Breathe into the bottom tip of your left shoulder blade. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then launch up on the ball of the left foot. Marry that right thigh to the belly. Lift the pelvis as high as you can get it, and that dolphin fin between your shoulder blades, press it up out of the water. For 3 and 2 and 1. Inhale, point your right toes. Exhale, flex your right foot as much as you can, and then step it in between the hands. Take your blocks up, and then go ahead and hop your left foot forward a little bit. Lift your right toes in the air and fan your right foot side to side. For 3 and 2 and 1. Now bend your right knee. You can put your left knee down if you want to, or leave it up, and just make a little sitting bone circle with your right sitting bone this time. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then go the other direction. 3 and 2 and 1. Now set your left knee down and just begin to rock your right foot side to side. So first lift up your big toe, your inner arch, your inner ankle bone, your inner knee, and then drop your big toe and firm it into the mat and lift the other 4 toes and pick up your outer ankle bone, your outer knee, and just go side to side. And see if you can notice what it's like to activate the entire inseam of that leg, the entire outseam of that leg as you go side to side. And just notice which side was harder or easier to move, which hip capsule was tighter at the back. And the next time you've got your big toe mound lifted, your inner arch, your inner ankle, your inner knee, you notice your knee is out to the right a little bit. And if this hip is tight, bump it out to the side. If this hip's a little loose, you can keep it in a more neutral position. And then just keeping your hip bumped out, put your right big toe mound down and just feel what it's like to have a little weight in your right foot with your hip capsule a little released. You can draw your knee forward over your ankle a couple of times and just notice what that new position feels like. If it feels wonky or dangerous, just pull that hip in a little bit. But if it could use a little space, just notice what it's like to have it in that position. And then go ahead and make the action of picking your left heel up towards your glute. So you want to really get as tight as you can in that left hamstring until you can squeeze your left butt, get your left hamstring working, and then press your right foot back down to the mat, but resist it with that pull close. So you just want to keep your hamstring and your glute as online as possible. And that's what we're working in this practice as the base of our back bend, both the idea of the balanced pelvis and the glute and the hamstring informing our back bend. And then just back up your hips directly over your knee. You've got this leg working a little bit differently than it usually does because you might have changed your hip position. And you've got your glute and your hamstring as fiercely on the left side as you can. And then just take the right edge of your pelvis back and drop it down a little bit. It may not go as far as it usually does. Swim your hands around and get your opposite index finger in front as you take your fist down. Try not to lose your low ribs, but open up above the sternum. Take a look up. Just be aware of crunching your neck. So instead you want to reach the base of the skull away from the shoulder top. Notice what's different that's working in your legs. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then release from that. Take your hands down. Exhale. Cat arching. Lift and spread your right toes and fan your foot side to side. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then one more time, take your left knee down, pick up your right foot so you're in a Hanuman, press your right big toe mound forward. Notice if you started cat arching, you're too low, come up a little higher and extend your sternum forward even while you're lifting your tail slightly. Fan your foot side to side for 3 and 2 and 1. And then walk your blocks over towards the left. Let your right block walk a little further than your left block. Press your right hip over towards the right side of the mat. Creep your fingers forward on your block. And instead of elevating your right shoulder top, peel up your lowest right rib away from the right hip crest. And then just start to breathe into your right outer ribs. Peel apart the rib tips. Inhaling and exhaling out the belly. Inhale. Exhale out the belly. Inhale. Exhale out the belly. And then take your breath a little higher. So you're just outside the breast tissue, breathing into your upper ribs, spreading them apart. Exhaling out the belly. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Form into your left hand and unfurl the right hand up to the sky. Go as wide as you can across the collarbones. And then just let your left ear drape down towards your left shoulder and see if you can find as much length as possible on the right edge of the neck and the right shoulder top. Not pushing or forcing, but just letting it drape down as if it's made out of taffy. For 3, reach into those fingertips. And 2 and 1. And then step your right shoulder blade back, reach your palm even further back and dive that right hand into the left side waist. And you're just going to hike that shoulder blade up to the ear. And this time you're going to take it back and down. So we're going the opposite direction on this collarbone. You're just rotating, you're drawing a clockwise circle on the ceiling with your right shoulder head. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then just taking your hand back down to your block, walking underneath the left arm, flip your palm and cinch the fingertips towards the back edge of the block. Press your pelvis over towards the right. Reach your right shoulder blade towards the front edge of the mat and away from the spine. Just feel that back line of the right arm stretching. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then release and unfurl that left leg. And we're going to come into Prasarita Padottanasana. I'm going to turn completely around so you can see me. And you're going to have a block underneath you or your hands on the ground, whichever way you want to, and extend your tail back, reach your rib cage forward, make your side waist as long as you can get it. Your back is flat, and then just have a seat. Sit way back with your hips. Take an easy inhale. As you exhale, push your left heel away from you. Very muscular action. And then as if I had a block outside your right knee, press into that block. Try to get your right glute aware for 3 and 2 and 1. Inhale. And as you exhale, push your right heel away. Reach your left knee out into the imaginary block for 3 and 2 and 1. And then just go side to side and make it as muscular a movement, not a very stretching movement, but almost like you're moving through sludge and you have to muscularize in both directions for 3 and 2 and 1, and then release and go ahead and turn back towards your front foot and hop the back foot forward a little bit and block your right foot and try to get the entire ball of the foot up and over the edge of the block. Inhale, lift the left heel, roll through the left big toe mound and arch the foot slightly, and then exhale and drop down right into the middle of the heel strike. Inhale and lift. Exhale and drop. Inhale and lift. And exhale and drop. And then stay there or hop your foot forward a little bit or a lot, depending on the length of the back line of your leg today. Inhale, reach the sternum forward, lift the tail, and exhale, drop the outer right heel into the mat. Let the pelvis shift over towards the right. And just feel that lateral edge of the calf stretching for 3 and 2 and 1. And inhale, center, and exhale, drop the inner right heel into the mat. Let the hips shift over towards the left. Breathing for 3 and 2 and 1. And then just go side to side, feeling that dynamic stretch in the calf for 3 and 2 and 1. Then take all the weight into the left foot, turn your block and set the right heel on it so that the toes are parallel, and walk your other block over towards the left. Let the right hand reach further than the left hand. Straighten your right knee any amount and press your hips over towards the right. Take your breath into the side ribs, upper and lower ribs. Big inhalation, exhaling out the belly. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, and exhaling. Rebend your right knee. Take your block back to center and put your fingertips on it. Your right forearm is weighted into the right thigh and step your left foot way back. Swing the pelvis forward on the inhalation. You're looking for a dog tilt, so drop your shoulder blades down towards the back rim of the pelvis. Lift the back rim of the pelvis up as you pick up the back of the left knee. Longest back of the neck you can find as you look up for 3 and 2 and 1. Try to keep that contraction on the back line at the same time that you drop your low ribs towards the pubic bone. How much can you co-activate the front and the back of your trunk for 3 and 2 and 1, and then swing through exhalation. Breathe into your kidney band. 3, 2, 1, and then inhale and draw forward, dog tilt. Contract that QL, open up between sternum and collarbone, look up. 3 and 2 and 1. Hold on to that shoulder blade drop and the back of the pelvis lift at the same time that you drop your low ribs towards the pubic bone. 3 and 2 and 1, and then swinging into your cat arch. Breathe broad across the back, and then just drop your left knee down. Take your left block down a notch and walk your right fingertips forward inside the right foot. Let the right sitting bone reach back. Get as long as you can in the right side waist and take a little sitting bone circle into that right hip. For 3 and 2 and 1, and then firm your left hand into the block and unfurl that right arm up to sky. Just let that left ear drape down again to the left shoulder top. Get as long as you can, like that whole area is made out of taffy. Then step your right shoulder blade back, reach your right hand a little further back behind and tuck your hand into your side waist. We're going to make that clockwise shoulder blade circle again for 3 and 2 and 1, and then release. Take that foot off the block and walk your hands over towards the left side of your mat again. Prasarita Padottanasana. Just forward fold for a moment. Take a couple of loose, generous breaths there. For 3 and 2 and 1, and then go ahead and roll up one vertebra at a time. All right, now we're going to make that same action. So we're squeezing an imaginary block between our thighs. Oh, first let's balance the pelvis. Just let that block go. Sorry. Just start to slide your pelvis over towards the left and over towards the right. And when you get to the center, just notice what it's like for your pelvis to be in the most balanced place before you start to feel it coming over to the other side. So you're just educating your body. You're trying to propriocept. Where is neutral? We've been doing all this rebalancing work, trying to loosen up one of the hip capsules that might be chronically drawn in. Sometimes that has to do with the rotation of the femur on that side, an external rotation. But we've been moving that around a little bit. And we just want to see if we can educate our body as to where the most upright place of the pelvis is. And so here we are gliding the pelvis across the femur heads and just seeing if we can find that midline place. Next time you're coming to that middle place, go as slowly as you can and just take a little pause where you feel the most balanced in your pelvis. And if you want to reach out your femur heads just a little bit, see if you can widen, bump out the hips without losing that equilibrium, then go for it. Now, squeeze your thighs slightly together. Take your hands palm up onto the sacrum. Inhale, don't lose your rib cage. Instead, open up between sternum and collarbone. Inhale into your belly. Exhale, drop the navel to the spine. Inhale into belly, and this time resist with the abdominal wall. Exhale that navel to the spine. Inhale into the belly, resist with the abdominal wall, and just look up a little further now. Reach the base of the skull towards the top of the head. For 3 and 2 and 1, and then very gently, very slowly, just come down into your forward fold. And then walk your hands around to your front foot. Step your front foot to meet the back, downward facing dog. Oh, we forgot the TikToks on this thigh. We better do that. Okay, so go ahead and take your left knee down now. Sorry, take it a little outside the hip. Right foot is parallel to the edge of the mat. Some of you are going, we didn't mind missing it on that side, really. Reach the base of the skull back, squeezing towards midline. Take an easy inhale. As you exhale, drop your right elbow down towards your right knee. Draw your left elbow back and breathe into those low left ribs. Spread the rib tips. 3, 2, and 1. And then inhale, center, and exhale your left elbow down. Draw your right elbow back. Breathe into your low right ribs. 3, 2, and 1. And then inhale your way up and exhale down. Breathe into your upper left ribs. Draw your left elbow back. 3, 2, and 1. And then inhale up and exhale down. Breathe into your upper right ribs. Take your right elbow a little further back. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale your way up. Exhale down the right side. Turn and look at your right knee. Reach your left elbow towards the floor and let your shoulder blade follow the action of that elbow, like it's trying to reach away from the left edge of the spine. And then breathe into the bottom tip of that left shoulder blade. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then go ahead and release and come back, downward facing dog. Lengthen, lengthen, sideways. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then take an easy inhale here. As you exhale, glue your knees together and take them an inch above the mat. Swing them over to the left. Try not to get your right knee behind your left knee. And then reach your right sitting bone to the right heel. Breathe into the bottom tip of your left shoulder blade. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then launch up on the ball of the left foot. Take the right thigh into the belly. Lift it higher and higher. Reach your dolphin fin up out of the water. Reach the base of the skull up towards the ceiling. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then downward facing dog. Take a breath for nothing. Inhale. As you exhale, squeeze your knees together. Let them drop an inch above the mat and then turn them towards the right. Your left knee is reaching as far as your right knee. Try not to let it get behind. And then left sitting bone to left heel. Breathe into the bottom tip of your right shoulder blade. For 3 and 2 and 1. Now launch up on the ball of the right foot. Let the left thigh marry into the belly. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, point your left foot. Exhale, pull, flex those left toes, and then step forward in between the hands, and then let the right foot come to meet. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. For 3 and 2 and 1. Take the weight in the heels. Come on up with a flat back. Look up as the palms touch. Exhaling, namaste. Inhale, hands rise. Exhale, forward fold, Uttan. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, step your right foot back. Step your left foot back. Come down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhaling, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling, another chaturanga if you want it. Downward facing dog. For 3 and 2 and 1. Inhale, lifts the right leg, bend the knee, stack the hips, squeeze your right glute, pull your right heel in, get your hammy working, reach the knee a little bit more open, and then on your next exhalation, step that foot in between the hands. Left foot comes to meet. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Take the weight of the heels, come on up with a flat back. Look up as the palms touch. Exhaling, come right back down. Uttan. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, step your left foot back. Step your right foot back. Come down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhaling, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling, another chaturanga if you want one. Downward facing dog. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift the left leg, bend the knee, stack the hips. Get your left glute on, your left hammy on. Draw that knee a little further back. And then on your next exhalation, step your left foot in between the hands. Right foot comes forward. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Take the weight into the heels. Come on up with a flat back. Look up as the palms touch. Exhaling, namaste. Inhale, palms rise. Exhaling, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, step your right foot back. Step your left foot back. Come down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhaling, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling, another chaturanga if you want one. Downward facing dog. For 3 and 2, and 1. Inhale, lifts your right leg up, bend the knee, stack the hips, pull that heel into the glute, pull the knee back a little further. On your next exhalation, swing that right foot in between the hands, let the left foot come to meet. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhaling, forward fold. Take the weight into the heels, come on up with a flat back, look up as the palms touch. Exhaling, namaste, come right back down. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, step the left foot back, step the right foot back, come down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhaling, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling, another chaturanga if you wanted, downward facing dog. For 3, and 2, and 1. Inhale, the left leg, lift, bend the knee, stack the hips, turn on your left glute, pull your left heel into the butt, draw the left knee back, and then on your next exhalation, step your left foot forward, take your hands up on the blocks. Now we're just going to take that little rocking motion that we were doing last month and at the beginning of the class. So we're going to pick up that left big toe, inner ankle, inner knee, and then drop it down and then lift up the other 4 toes and just rock a little bit and see if you can find that rocking motion happening all the way up into the head of your femur to the very hip. See if you can find that rocking motion. And the next time your big toe mound is up and your knee is reaching out to the side, just let your left hip bump out to the left very slightly, and then drop your left big toe mound back down. And just like we were doing at the beginning of the class, with that new position, just draw your knee forward over your ankle and see if you can feel what it's like to move forward and back with your knee, with your hip in that new place. For 3, and 2, and 1. And then inhale, swing your pelvis forward a little bit. Find a little bit of a dog tilt with your shoulder blades drawing down your back towards the back rim of your pelvis. And then lift the back of the right knee so that the rim of your pelvis reaches up towards your shoulder blades a little bit. And you're feeling that contraction of the back line from the shoulder blade to the top rim of the pelvis. For 3, and 2, and 1. And then hold on to that back line. And at the same time, start to draw your low ribs towards the pubic bone. So you're trying to co-activate the front and the back edge of your trunk. For 3, and 2, and 1. Stay there. Push your left heel into the mat. Come onto fingertips and pull your fingertips towards the back of the mat. And then you just want to see if you can release. Come on up. Crescent lunge. In a little bit of a different position with your hips. So just notice what's going on with your body. You're trying to keep the weight into your right big toe mound. For 3, and 2, and 1. And then just swim your hands around. Interlace your fingers behind your glutes. Drop your hands down. Try not to lose your low ribs, but see if you can open up from sternum to collarbone. Longest back of the neck you can find. 3, 2, and 1. And then you're just going to forward fold. You're going to find a 45-degree angle with your upper body. And then take your fingers, take your hands back down to your blocks. Hop your back foot forward a little bit, straighten your front knee. Walk your hands on your blocks as far forward as you can get them and really lengthen out the sideways as you pull your left hip back. Pyramid pose. For 3, and 2, and 1. Now we're going to roll through that left big toe mound and lift the right leg up into the air. Let's take that little balancing work again, actually, before we do that. Come back down with that right foot and just lift one side of the foot, then the other. And then let that big toe mound come up. Feel the placement where you want to work your left hip, and then put the big toe mound down and just rock up and off that back foot a little bit so that the weight comes more onto the front foot. You don't want to move your hip into a place where you're getting pain. You just want to feel a little bit of room in the hip capsule, a little bit of stretch. So when you find yourself comfortable with the position that you've chosen, then go ahead and lift. You might just hover that back foot. You don't have to take it all the way up if it's too much on the position you've chosen. And then if you want to, you can straighten that bottom leg. If you want to, you can lift the top leg and lower the right hip. If you want to, you can take the hands out to the side, but it's your call, your yoga, for 3 and 2 and 1. And then wherever you are, hands back to blocks or around the ankle. Take an easy inhale. And as you exhale, just curl that right knee, nestle it behind the left knee and drop it almost to the ground. Inhale, straighten both legs. And exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Really want you to feel your left glute here. And exhale, bend. And then just go ahead and come down. Hopefully we've activated it enough during the practice that you're getting a little more oomph from it there. And then the right palm's coming forward and up. Try not to hike up your shoulder top, but take the lowest right rib up, up, up. And then exhale, catch that thigh with your forearm. Pull it into the body. Turn your right belly to the left. Just bump your right pelvis over towards the right a little bit. Push your left knee into your right elbow. Turn your right belly to the left. And as if you could pick up the base of your skull more and more and more with an imaginary strap. Grow 2 inches taller. Turn. 3, 2. Pull with your right elbow. Got that posterior hip warm. See if you can just give it a little bit more stretch. 2 and 1. Stay where you are in every aspect except take your nose towards the front. Your belly's going left, your nose is going right. For 3 and 2. And keep everything where it is except take your eyes to the left. Your belly's going left, your eyes are going left, your nose is going right. For 3 and 2 and 1. And now release. Take a tiny counter twist and you're going to swing your left leg around to a pigeon. Get something under your right glute so it's not floating and so you're not capsizing over to the right. And your right shin can be parallel to the front edge of the mat, or your right heel can be very close to the pubic bone, wherever you feel comfortable. Take your hands on your blocks or one hand on your right knee and one hand on your left foot. And then just draw your left lower back into a little bit more of a contraction. Drop your left shoulder blade down. Lift the back rim of the left pelvis up a little bit and see if you can find a little more contraction in your left lumbar spine. But try not to lose your rib cage too far to the front when you do that. See if you can keep your front low ribs as soft and dropping as much as you can. And then once you've got that sense of a little bit of arch in the left lumbar, then go ahead and forward fold. And just feel, how's that right hip capsule going? Maybe you can rock side to side a little bit and just notice what's happening in there, how it's changed from the beginning of the practice. For 3 and 2. And 1. And then go ahead and press back and just come onto all fours. Inhale and dog tilt. Exhale and cat arch. Inhale and dog tilt. Exhale and cat arch. Now try to keep this center line of the belly right over the center of the mat. So try not to sit out into one hip too much, and just draw your left foot back directly behind you. Take a little dog tilt on the inhalation. And then as you exhale, draw that left foot around to the side and cat arch. Try to keep your belly over the center. Try not to let it wander off to the right too much. Inhale, left leg comes back, dog tilt. Shoulder blade to back rim of pelvis. Exhale, cat arch. Inhale, dog tilt. Exhale, cat arch. Inhale, dog tilt. This time bend the knee and lift the foot up above the knee like you're a dog peeing on a hydrant. Exhale, cat arch. Inhale, dog tilt. Exhale, cat arch. Inhale, dog tilt. Reach your left lowest rib towards the left rim of the pelvis, like you're contracting your side waist a little bit here too, for 3 and 2 and 1. And then exhale, cat arch, and hold on to your cat arch, especially between your shoulder blades, but lift your tail and lower your tail like you're doing a little pelvic tilt at the same time that you're keeping a cat arch up between the shoulder blades for 3 and 2 and 1. And then let that go and take a full dog and a full cat. And just notice the difference between the left side and the right side of your body right now. And then go ahead and walk your feet up to your hands. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, step your left foot back. So just go ahead and rock your right foot a little bit. And next time your big toe mound is up, just choose your hip placement on the right. If this is your tight hip, really bump your hip out to the right, and then snuggle your right toe down into the mat. And then just launch off the left toe so your right knee comes in front of your ankle, and just feel what it's like to have a little weight in that foot with your new hip placement. If it feels too loose, you can pull it in, but you want to just get to know a new place for that hip, especially if it's your tight hip, for 3 and 2 and 1. And then go ahead and come up on your fingertips, swing your pelvis forward a little bit, come into a little bit of a dog tilt by dropping your shoulder blades towards the back rim of the pelvis. Lift the back of the left knee so the back rim of the pelvis reaches up for the shoulder blades, and open up between the sternum and the collarbones. Try not to lose your low ribs. Lengthen the back of the neck. 3, 2, 1. And just see if you can keep that contraction going at the same time that you drop the low ribs towards the pubic bone. And you really want to get the front and the back of your thorax co-activated. That's the word I was looking for. 3, 2, 1. Now pull your blocks towards the back mat. Pull as hard as you can, and see if that enables you to just lift off the blocks and come up to a crescent lunge. Your legs are feeling different muscles work than usual maybe. So see if you can find that situation balanced. 3, 2, 1. And then just swing your hands around behind. Get the opposite index finger from last time in front. Drop your fist down. Try to keep your low ribs from winging out to the front, and then open up upper front intercostals. Long back of neck. 3, 2, 1. Keep that contraction along the back line. Start to drop your front ribs as your torso comes to a 45-degree angle. And then let the hands go. Let them land down. Hop your left foot forward a little bit. Straighten your front foot. Walk your blocks forward. Urdhva long sideways as you pull your right hip back. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then bring your blocks back a little bit. Rock your foot. Next time you have your big toe mound up, Just bump that hip out to whatever position you'd like it in. Drop that right big toe, snuggle it in. Find what it's like to have a little bit of weight there by rocking up and down on your left heel until you have a sense, nah, I have enough stability there, or, oh, I need to pull my hip in. Find that position. And then when you've got it, just let your left foot become a little bit airborne. If you feel comfy there, lift your left leg a little higher, straighten your right leg. If you feel comfortable, drop your left hip, come onto fingertips, take your wings out. For 3, and 2, and 1. Hands to blocks or around your ankle. Take an easy inhale. As you exhale, snuggle your left knee in behind your right knee. Inhale, straighten both legs. Push down into your right heel, hoping to feel your right glute. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend. And then just come all the way down this time. Let your left, right sitting bone sink down. Left palm comes forward and up. Pick up your lowest left rib. Exhale, twist. Bump your hips over towards the left. Reach your right knee into your left elbow and turn your left belly to the right. Pick up the base of your skull. Grow taller. 3, 2, 1. Leave everything where it is except turn your nose towards the front. Your belly's going right, your nose is going left. For 3, and 2. And 1, keep everything where it is except take your eyes to the right. Your belly is going right, your eyes are going right, your nose is going left. 3, and 2, and 1. And then release, take a tiny counter twist. Swing your right leg around. Get your left glute onto something to support it. Left shin can be as parallel to the front edge of your mat as you want. And then just see if you can find a little bit more contraction in the back line between the right shoulder blade and the right hip crest. Just trying to find that QL contraction there. And then once you've got that, go ahead and forward fold. Breathe. Outer left hip. How's that left posterior hip capsule feeling? Maybe you want to take a little bit of a left sitting bone circle or glide side to side. For 3, and 2, and 1. And then release, come all fours. Inhale, dog tilt. Exhale, cat arch. Now try to keep your navel over the midline, and we're just going to take our right foot back without sitting out into the left hip too much. Take a little dog tilt here, and then exhale, cat arch. Inhale, dog tilt. Exhale, cat arch. Inhale, dog tilt. This time, lift the foot above the knee. Really dog tilt. Exhale, cat arch. Inhale, dog tilt. Add your sideways. So reach your right lowest rib towards your right hip crest. Exhale, cat arch. Last one. Inhale, dog tilt. Use your QL. Use your sideways. Exhale, cat arch. Hold your cat arch between your shoulder blades and then just lift and lower your tail. Just feeling that pelvis glide over the femur head for 3, and 2, and 1. And then just draw that right knee in and sit back. You're looking for a blankie under your knees. And then you're going to take a block between your thighs, okay, like this. You're going to keep your toes tucked under. Just go ahead and shift slightly side to side. See if you can find that midpoint, midline, where your pelvis is most balanced that we were finding earlier in the practice. And next time you glide by there, just take a little pause right in the middle, squeeze your block, take your hands palms up on the sacrum, squeeze your glutes, make the action of picking your heels up so you can feel your hamstrings get online, and then breathe into your belly. Big poofing expansion. Exhale, navel to spine. Inhale, breathe into your belly, and this time resist with your abdominal wall. Exhale, navel to spine. Breathe in and resist. Open up the front line, look up a little bit more. Exhale, navel to spine. Inhale into that resisting abdominal wall. Look up a little more. Open your upper front intercostals. Exhale, navel to spine. Last one. Inhale into that abdominal wall. Exhaling. 3, 2, 1. And then just come very slowly out of there. Take a child's pose. Breathing. For 3 and 2 and 1. All right, if you want to try that again, go for it. I'm going to start everybody rolling because I ran out of time to do the Cobra. Sorry, after I made you get a bolster, but we'll do it next week. I'm going to start everybody rolling, but if you want to take another Ustrasana just to feel that, go for it. Otherwise, we're taking this right into the right glute, okay? And then you're just going to lie down. You're looking for a little bit of an alley spot. When you find it, you can take your knee in the air and take it into a little circle. You can lift your left heel off the mat. You can glue your left knee to your right knee and take them both into the circle. For 3 and 2 and 1, and then straighten out your right leg. Turn your navel 45 degrees to the right. You can stay down here, or you can take your right forearm onto the mat. Bury the outer edge of your right foot into the mat and bend and straighten your right leg. For 3 and 2 and 1, and then turn your navel 45 degrees more so you're facing the side wall, and find that little bump on the outside of your hip, your greater trochanter, and just draw a circle around it with the ball. You're drawing a donut around that hip, that bone that sticks out to the side. 3, 2 and 1. Now step your left foot in front of your right thigh, turn your navel one more notch so it's facing slightly towards the floor, and just roll around like that ball is in the front pocket of your jeans. Looking for a little sore spot at the top of your IT band there. 3, 2 and 1, and then roll that ball into your right sideways, just above your right hip crest, just below your rib cage. Take an easy inhale, puff up towards the ball, and then exhale and sink down onto it. Inhale, puff up, exhale, sink down. And stay as low as you can on the ball and just go through some pelvic tilts there. For 3 and 2 and 1, and then roll off, lie on your back, and just see if you can notice the difference between the two sides. from that brief rollout. And then we're going to take the ball into the left glute, rolling around. If you want to lift your left knee in the air, your right heel or your right knee can glue together with the left knee. If you need more sensation. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then straighten your left leg out. Turn your navel 45 degrees to the left. Stay down there or come up onto your forearm and bend and straighten your left knee. On the back fibers of your glute med. Hopefully throughout this series, this is getting a little less clenched up and we're getting a little more glute max action. And then turn your navel 45 degrees more and just make a donut hole, donut shape around your greater trochanter. 3, 2, 1. Now step your right foot in front of your left thigh, turn your navel towards the floor again, and then rolling around like that ball was in your left jeans pocket. 3, 2, and 1. And then into your side waist. Inhale, puff up. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, puff up. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, puff up. Exhale, sink down. And just taking some tilts. Dog tilt and cat arch. For 3 and 2 and 1. And then just roll onto your back and notice. We're going to take a little Shava here. So find your pose, or if you want to roll a little more, of course, your O is welcome. Just dropping down wherever you are. Take an easy inhale through the nose. Long, slow exhalation out the mouth. Inhaling nose. Sighing out the mouth. Inhaling nose. Let everything go. And then rolling over on the right side into the fetal position. Taking a moment of gratitude for the miracle of your body, for your strong legs and your strong arms, for the good gift of eyes that see and ears that hear. Such amazing blessings. And then grounding left palm into the mat, come gently up to seated, allowing your head to hang until the very end. Just taking a moment to notice in your seated position any benefits the practice has brought to us this evening, in the release to the muscle sheath, in the depth of the breathing, or the quietness of the mind. Inhaling the hands up over the head, let the palms touch. Let the thumbs come to the forehead, asking for generous thoughts, and to the lips for kind speech, and to the heart for clear intentions. Namaste. Thank you so much. Really nice. I am going to get to that back bend on the bolster next time. So please bring your pillow back next week. Sorry, I overstuffed that class with too many things. Any feedback you have about the back bend or the pelvic balancing, just let me know, okay?
Yeah.
Nice to see everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful class.
Thanks, Jen.
Yeah, thank you, Fran, for coming. How's that going on your left hip? Oh, she went.
Bye.
Bye, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jen.
Yes, you're welcome.
See you next time.
Becca, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in so long.
Good, thanks. Yeah, that was great. I really liked the incorporated warming up. I don't know. I really liked you taking longer in the I don't know how do you say that whole set, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but
It
what
was
it means is we don't get to any side postures like warrior two or triangle. It's like, I cannot fit this all in. So, but anyway, I do feel like in this time, because people are sitting so much, I just feel like taking them in more slowly. So anyway, I hope it's going okay for everybody.
Yeah, that worked well. I haven't been addressing my hamstrings as much, and I haven't been taking ballet class, which I think all of that was, I was having that really, really bad tightness up high, right?
Yeah.
So I haven't been noticing that, but I also, like I said, I haven't been taking ballet class, so I don't know. If I start again, I want to be careful. I mean, I do want to start again, so I want to just kind of be a little more gentle and not freak my body out.
Are classes even meeting right now?
No, I've been doing them in
Online.
here.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
not even live, just like, recorded ones on YouTube.
Yeah.
So there are some that are streaming that you can pay for through the dance center, Lions Dance Center that I used to go to.
Uh-huh.
And they recently had, they used to do this, they called it all you can dance, kind of like all you can eat. You go for a whole Saturday and you do like 8 classes, half-hour classes in a row. You can just try everything, flamenco and, African, whatever, and Feldenkrais and like, everything. So
Wow.
I missed it though. I I saw it was coming, but it was on our anniversary, so I didn't do it, but it's like, that'd be so fun to do again. It was really neat.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, it's
But
such a
we had a
weird
good,
time.
we had a good, what?
It's such a weird time. Like all these things, it's just like super weird.
It's very weird. Yeah. Is. Oh, what a crazy time.
Yeah. I miss you. It's so nice to see
I
your
miss you
face.
too. I miss you too. How are you up there on the property and
It's
in
going
life?
pretty well. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't actually been here that much. Last week, John and I were down in Pebble Beach. And that was really nice to just get to see the water. I haven't seen
Yay.
the water much, and I just miss it so much. So that was such a blessing. And before that, Jamie had come for a 2-week visit, and all the kids were here before that. So I just feel like it hasn't really settled down, and maybe it's
Yeah.
not going to, which is great also. But
Yeah.
I expected to kind of get into a rhythm here, and instead it hasn't felt like that.
Uh-huh.
But it's really nice. It's really nice to just have a lot of variety and people visiting and trips and everything. So it's good, it's different than what I pictured it being.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I can see that. What did
And
you
Joy is
think?
visiting now. She's here for a week. So
Oh, yay.
yeah. So that's really special.
Very good.
So yeah. I hope you guys can come up sometime.
Thank you.
Even if you can't get the whole family, you and James should just come up sometime.
Okay. Thank you. Yay. Yeah. Whatever happened with those guys planning a retreat? Huh? I don't know. I
Oh,
haven't heard a word.
with Kimberly?
I think weren't the men thinking of it?
Oh yeah. Now that you mention it, they were.
I
And they
didn't
just
hear a
totally,
second peep about it.
yeah, they fell off of it. And I know Kimberly messaged me once about the women coming, and then I never heard back
Yeah.
from her either. So
We want to. It's just not coming together.
it's so hard to remember anything in this time, I feel like everything's so strange, and then it kind of just floats around and then just woo.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
It
Yeah.
is. It's very brain fogging or something.
Yeah.
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 Is Forge still meeting outside, or what's happening now?
We started meeting inside. The vineyard building opened back up.
Okay.
And so we did several weeks there. And then even when the county went back to purple, we met, I think, one more time down there. I think it was because Dick and Jan, they said something like, nobody's told us to not meet. So, we'll just meet. Like the building, the people that own the building, they
Yeah.
hadn't put it down. So, and the other congregation, at least the Hispanic, congregation was meeting still. And anyway, then we met here because why was it? I don't know. I forget why, but anyway, we had offered to host, and some people weren't they were mostly coast people, and then maybe it was the Ramirez's couldn't meet or something. Oh, I know. They had decided not to meet in person because my understanding is that they just want to really play it by the book to protect their their status of trying to get their green card and all, right? That's my understanding. So they decided they would Zoom in. And so then the rest of us decided not to drive as far. So we met here. I would love to keep hosting and do that more, but it really has to be at a different time of day because everyone got stuck in so much traffic,
Yeah.
both directions.
Brutal.
It has to be morning, which is what we used to do years back when we met on the coast. It was breakfast, we did breakfast together. Or like brunch or whatever it was. So anyway, we'll see if that happens again. And then this last week we just zoomed instead of meeting anywhere. So
Yeah.
Have you
Sometime
guys,
when you're zooming,
been
let
going
me
to
know and I'll zoom in on the,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
if it's in the morning. In
Great.
the afternoon, I've been doing some filming with Jonna. I've been meaning to send out a prayer request about that, but I haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, in the morning, if you do it in the morning, I would try to zoom in.
Okay. Yeah, I don't
But
know.
Jonna
I
has
mean, I suggested that a couple times and the only response was that conversation or something. So I don't know still if anybody will go for it.
Okay. But yeah, Jonna's been interviewing me and that is so helpful when she does that because it just helps me not to be so stilted or something and trying to talk about my
for your recordings.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah. So I think that's going to go well. So I meant to ask for prayer for it, but I just haven't gotten around to it, but I want to.
Oh, yeah.
So that's on my mind.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay, my dear. Well, thanks for coming to class. And,
Oh, my
and
goodness,
don't
thank
worry about the ticket thing. We'll just work it out later.
Okay.
Is everything okay with James' job so far?
It is, yeah, thankfully. I mean, he wasn't one of the ones that were threatened with a furlough. But then nobody ended up getting furloughed because the stimulus package passed, which is just how can we go on like this? It's like fantasy world.
Yeah, it totally is. It's very bizarre.
It's really strange. Yeah. So on one hand, I'm like, so I'm thankful that my husband has his job still, but yeah, it's very strange. So
super weird.
Yeah, I think the whole guest pass thing though was just unrelated. It was something internal the company had wanted to change. But it was kind of a shock because I was like just used to like asking James like, okay, can we have 4 more? Can we have like 7 more? And now he's like, they just changed it all, and I think I can only get 1 a month. That's a huge difference.
Yeah,
so,
that is huge.
Yeah, kind of disappointing, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Maybe it'll settle back somewhere in between.
Yeah, it really is different. So,
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. But anyway, it's great having you in class.
It's lovely to be in there. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go out to and I'll be all glowy, and James is always, happy. He's like, "Oh, you look like you had a great time."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
See you later.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.